at least the government should extend it. They extend AKCs so that each of us to get registered and at least they get something from the government and like this relief fund. So at least that one will help. Because when you see them, they are not happy.
He's currently staying alone in this grass-thatched house that he rents at 20,000 per month. He sent his wife and mother to the village in order to lessen the burden of buying food. At the Cook-Daya border stage, Amy Ochen, a border and chairperson of borders in Badege Laibi division, calls on the government to continue registering people for these funds.
In Gulu City, we had about only 5,000 border members whom they are going to benefit, even though some of their members, their money is still on the way coming. Initiative, the program, the government of Uganda, they have seen that is very important to support the border. We do appreciate, but concerning those who receive this money, I'm appealing to them to use it properly. Don't go and drink alcohol.
Ojok Christopher thinks the government should extend COVID-19 vaccination to everyone so that they are back on the streets to make money. However, the 100,000 shillings is also breeding hatred in border stages, as some of their colleagues who have not yet received the money are unhappy.
Residents of Chira have appealed to the Office of the Prime Minister to treat reports that every person who registered for the COVID cash relief in Chira received it as a manifest lie. Now, as Saddam Obale reports, majority of the residents in Chira say a few border riders have received the COVID cash relief, but none from the remaining vulnerable groups did receive the funds. Take a look.
Majority of residents from Mulawa in Kira municipality in Wakiso district have appealed to the government, claiming that few people, majority of whom are border riders, received the COVID-19 relief package, but the categories of vulnerable persons remain at the mercy of to whom it may concern.
Nekirala nti ate abantu b'Ekira bafunye ssente bameka abafunye mubatuwe ffe wano Mulawa Bengazi stage border tetunafuna ssente. Abantu bamemba tuli 25 abantu bana be bakafuna ku ssente.
Nze nali ngola ku ssomero naye sinafuna wadde n'ekikumi. Abawandiika baffe batuukayo koke mazima tuli bubi enjala etutta.
Kira municipality was among the first municipalities to submit names and also receiving COVID-19 cash relief after Gulu City. According to the LC1 chairperson Charles Kamia, out of the total number of names they submitted from his village, less than half managed to get COVID-19 relief funds.
Obutonotono ku bantu banga bandikibwa mu kitundu abamu bafunyeeko ka message kamaze okubatuukako era basanyufu, naye abalala tebanakafunako ka message. Naddala abakafunyeeko be ba boda naye ate nga nabo babale sinzira ku namba gye ninamu stage ninamu eziwera 6 naye ku stage nga 2 ezakafunako abantu nga 2-3 ate nga ate stage ezo nako boda eziwera 15 oba 2.
Conductors and saloon operators who are among the described vulnerable beneficiaries we talked to in Kira say they have never received a coin on their mobile money accounts from government.
Kale nawuliddeko ababoda kaŋŋambo babeewandiisa 20 kuba simanyi muwendo mmeka abeewandiisa, naye nawuliddeko abantu 4 ku babboda, naye bano ab'emirimu emirala tewali n'omu gwe nawuliddaga nti oba ye yafunye.
Tubonyaabonye n'ennaku nze nali kunda kitakati nadda mu byuma ntiika byuma nase noegye emirimu nali sigimanyi kati kitwebuuza ku maama nabbanja ffe naffe tubeeye n'essuubi tuwulira nti enteekateekayo okugaba ssente ekoma leero tubeeye n'essuubi naffe tugenda funa oba.
Some residents who were unable to register for the process yet they are vulnerable also appeal to the government to reconsider them in the next exercise, if any. Those who received the COVID-19 relief cash say the aid has helped them to shop for their families' foodstuffs that can sustain them over the next few days.
The bali bampadde mutwalo 10
yennyini mobile money. Kati nakoze nengenda ku dduuka nengula kilo z'omucere nnya nengula kilo za kawunga nengula kuna ebijanjaalo mukyala nembimukwasa.
Abawandiisibwa ku stage kuba abamu tebaaliwo. Naye ku bantu 15 abawandiisibwa kituufu abantu 4 twafunye ssente ezo emitwalo 10 kati nganze chairman nafunye emitwalo 10 mu 12,000.
There is a mixed reaction of residents here in Mulawa village in Kira municipality, with the majority saying that they have not yet received the COVID-19 relief funds, but those that we talked to are only a few bodabodas who said that they have already received their COVID-19 cash. Sada Mubale, UBC News in Wakiso.
Now, government has denied claims by some political actors of most beneficiaries of the COVID Relief Fund affiliated to the ruling National Resistance Movement. Minister for Information, Communications and Technology and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, says all mistakes in the beneficiaries list were corrected. This was during the Wednesday afternoon parliamentary sitting where Prime Minister Robin Anabanja was tasked to present a detailed statement on managing COVID-19 next week. Our reporter Henry Okrut with more.
We discovered that that person was not registered by the LC1 or through the normal process. The boy said for him, he was taken straight to register with the office of the RDC.
This was one of the most piercing, yet unconfirmed reports from the opposition regarding COVID-19 relief funds. Apparently, Kilak South County Member of Parliament Gilbert Olanya, alleging that funds were being distributed based on political affiliations.
Right, Honourable Speaker, there is some problem with this money. And also we learned that the majority of people who are receiving this money are the NRM cadres. If you are the best cadre, you receive this money. This is information I want to give further.
This was just one of the concerns by the members of Parliament, including these.
In my constituency, including areas called town councils, which are classified as vulnerable, I am not aware of anyone who has received the money.
We have local council chairmen who can witness to that effect that no one in their villages have got this money. So
the concerns coming at a time the Prime Minister Robin Anabanja was meant to present a detailed explanation regarding the same. It was, however, pushed to Wednesday next week as guided by the day's session chair, also Deputy Speaker Anita Among.
Money was coming from Ministry of Finance to Bank of Uganda, from Bank of Uganda to Post Bank, from Post Bank to these companies, MTN or Airtel, from Airtel to beneficiaries. And therefore, if I was given an opportunity to present my report, all these questions that are coming currently now would have been answered.
And let people take responsibility. If somebody is supposed to be in the house, then there must be a representative. You're not going to start clapping your hands when you know that you're supposed to be in the house.
But why all these concerns from MPs? Did anything go wrong with the registration and verification process? This is what Shamim Malende, the woman member of Parliament for Kampala District, thinks. A point of view that Dr. Chris Baryomunsi disagrees with.
I think the concern is raised because there's a discrepancy in the list of the beneficiaries that's being presented. And even recently we had a riot in Rubaga division over the list because the residents there were claiming that some people on the list were actually dead people.
There is a strong filtration process where the system which we have developed has to check whether you are the genuine person, whether your NINI number is the correct one, whether it corresponds to a telephone number, and all those checks.
Bariomusi also refutes claims of beneficiaries being cadres of the ruling National Resistance Movement.
So whether you belong to NRM or opposition, whether you are a Christian or non-Christian, whether you are a Muganda or a Muchiga, a Nachori, it is not an issue. The issue is you are affected by the measures. So those who are making those allegations, they're just doing it for politicking, but it's not true.
So, as the Prime Minister returns next week, more legislators want their concerns captured.
3/4 of the people who do border, they come from the rural area, and that is Bungoko North, in the mountains of Wanale, Budwale, Bufumbo, Bubyangu, Bukonde, and these guys are not included.
This and more is what Prime Minister Robin Anabanja will address on Wednesday next week. Henry Okurut, UBC.
Luwero resident District Commissioner Rose Birungi has re-energized the fight against COVID-19, which now seems rampant in her area of jurisdiction. To ensure no stone is left unturned, she has met local council leaders in Makulubita sub-county for an update on the situation and what needs to be done to avoid spiraling of cases. We have the details.
In a meeting of local council leaders of Makulubita sub-county Luwero district, the area RDC Rose Birungi has preached against stigmatizing those under home-based care treatment.
So there are some patients who go for medication and they are not badly off, and those ones they are being managed on home-based care. So those people are in the community, they are in the societies. So my appeal to them, to the people, is that they should not stigmatize those patients, because these people need hope, they need to live, but it's the people to give them hope.
The RDC advised the local leaders to ensure a swift flow of information to enable proper decision-making at the district COVID-19 task force level. Luwero District Deputy RDC Miriam Norobega reiterated her call of avoidance of self-medication when COVID-19 symptoms manifest.
Sometimes self-medication can lead to endangering of organs in the body, like the heart, the kidney, and the rest.
The meeting hosted at Makulubita Health Center 3 was attended by several chairpersons that highlighted challenges faced in the COVID-19 fight.
As leaders, we've got great challenges, most especially the bars, playgrounds, and the community radios. They've played a very great role in the spreading of coronavirus. People gather unknowingly, so we end up facing the victim.
The leaders also requested for the government COVID-19 relief to reach all people in the area, rather than to only those in the 8 town councils that were chosen.
Now, unlike the private hospitals in Kampala that charge 3 million to 5 million Uganda shillings to treat a COVID-19 patient, Maternal Hospital in Napak District, Karamoja sub-region is charging only 50,000 Uganda shillings to treat the same patient. Maternal Private Hospital, described as the Center of Excellence in the Karamoja sub-region, is owned by Moroto Catholic Diocese. Now, as Philip Aguta reports, the hospital administrator says they charge as low as 50,000 Uganda shillings for COVID-19 because they had most of the facilities like piped oxygen plant in place even before the outbreak of the pandemic, which makes COVID-19 treatment cheaper. Take a look.
It sounds unbelievable and unrealistic that a hospital in Napak District, Karamoja sub-region, can treat COVID-19 at 50,000 Ugandan shillings only. The patients are fed every day by the hospital, and they are also put on oxygen just like any other part of the country. Maternal Hospital in Karamoja's Napak District is a center of excellence, a private not-for-profit hospital owned by the Moroto Catholic Diocese.
The Maternal Hospital has been around for over 50 years now,
and for over 50 years now, and over the years it has been providing a highly subsidized service to our people, since we know that we are serving the most vulnerable people in the country. So now when COVID came last year, so it got us when we are already having this particular principle of offering care at a highly subsidized cost.
This building, formerly a TB ward, has been dedicated as a treatment center for COVID-19. It looks simple compared to hospital facilities in Kampala, making unreasonable charges to treat COVID-19 patients, but it is standard and has basic requirements of treating acute and mild COVID-19 cases.
In the COVID treatment unit, we have treated 107 patients, and we have admitted actually 87 patients. 30 are on home care, but all these 87 patients, some of them deserve oxygen. So it is this that really has led to increased consumption of oxygen. And then the other is the cost of treatment of a COVID patient in Maternal hospital is only 50,000. But all of this is because some of the inputs which are required which would have taken a lot of money, have already been part of the hospital. And here I'm talking about oxygen, because this is one of the major drivers of the costs up, which yet for us here we already had our oxygen plant.
However, according to the doctors, the cost of treating COVID-19 varies on its severeness, and at Maternal Hospital they are so far treating mild cases. Some of the caretakers of COVID-19 patients at the unit confirmed the cheap cost of treating COVID at Maternal Hospital.
We are on admission, or when they bring the person to the ward, you pay 50,000, and then as the person is still owned, but we've not yet gotten the whole bill, but it can't even be more than 100,000.
The Parliamentary Committee on COVID-19 on an oversight visit in Karamoja, headed by Dr. Charles Ayume, wants government to increase its support to the hospital and learn from it.
What we should do for this hospital, we should increase the PHC grant that comes straight from the Ministry of Health, because this hospital is serving Ugandans. Funding for this hospital to maintain its running is key, because as you see now, they are heavily relying on donor aid grants, which are unreliable. Anytime the donor pulls out, we will come here to bury this hospital, to liquidate it.
We came here expecting to find a bit of poor indicators, but we've been a bit surprised that staff are really well motivated. This is a hard to reach area. It's quite far. Some of the districts are new. They do not have even a health center for. What has been promoted from a health center 3 to health center 4 is really lacking in infrastructure, in human resource. So I think the onus is upon government to expeditiously come forward, not only for Karamoja, but for the rest of the country. We have just been slowed down by COVID.
Some of the legislators have commended the hospital for supporting the communities in health care services.
As members of parliament, one of the key things that we really see, because we've noticed that they're doing so much with very little support that is coming in from the country itself, from the government itself. So we see that there is a need for government to intensify the level of support that they provide into this facility. But we also see that this facility is actually operating like a regional referral hospital. It is not just receiving patients from Karamoja. There are patients coming from Teso, from Bugisu, from West Nile, from Northern Karamoja. It is actually having a catchment area that is not different from any regional referral hospital here.
Philip Aguta, UBC News in Napak District.
A very impressive piece right there. Thank you, Philip Aguta. Now, Mpigi District resolved to fight the COVID-19 pandemic has been boosted by relief from Korea International Cooperation Agency. Mpigi is slowly turning into a hotspot, with reports indicating increased numbers of COVID-19 cases. John Barnes Sentamu with the report.
Korea International Cooperation Agency (KOICA) has become the first international development partner to aid the Mpigi District COVID-19 Task Force during this lockdown. This intervention by KOICA is a result of a 5-year memorandum of understanding between Korea and Uganda.
PG district and the Koika ESMB project have been successfully carrying out the project based on strong partnership since 2015. With the active support of PG district, the ESMB project is only ongoing project at Koika that is not affected by COVID-19. As of now, the piped water connection project in Bongole have been completed, and the construction of 70 toilets is well underway.
The MOU aims to implement a project called Establishment of Sustainable Model Villages Phase 2, which targets improved quality of life through community-based and integrated rural development.
Has been conducting many training programs on mindset change, all of you know, leadership, agriculture technology and value addition at the National Farmers Leadership Center at Kampiringisa. And sometimes they go beyond the Kampiringisa and they go and do field work. All this has been going on, and Madam RDC would testify to this, that we have been invited many of these things to appreciate at many of their functions. This is what they are doing, and it is on course. And lastly, but not the least, they have been able to build the water extension. This is an infrastructure. But what I want to comment about that is that they have embraced the government buy Uganda, build Uganda when they are contracting projects.
Koika provided face masks, sanitizers, infrared thermometers and sanitary products to the district task force and people of Bongole in Buama, where the project is hosted. Mpigi district has several COVID-19 holding areas, notably Nkozi Hospital and the Government Health Center for in Mpigi town. All these venues are currently witnessing an overflow of COVID-19 patients, a situation that's straining the health professionals' access to personal protective equipment.
France is a hotspot. Many people are sick. Actually, last week, we had in one village burying 4 people of COVID cases. And as the DHO said, that every single day, we experience a death of a COVID case. And when we find about 100 people, when we find about 10 people in a place, in this town council, in this hotspot, like Jeza, Buama, town council, Muduma, where you find 10 people, at least 2 or 3 are positive.
Meanwhile, Koika has offered 9 motorbikes to artificial inseminators, whose task is to help the dairy industry in Mpigi district to flourish. These motorbikes will aid in community outreach in the model villages of Kiumu A, Lwawebwa, Nkozi, Nsamu, and importantly in Bongole Buama, especially areas like Maja, Kasubikamu, and Nyondo. John Barnes, Sentamu, reporting.
Now, people living with HIV/AIDS in Gulu City have stopped going to the health centers to pick their antiretroviral drugs due to the fear of contracting COVID-19. Now, according to the city COVID-19 task force, the death and reports of medical workers contracting the deadly disease is scaring the patients who are supposed to pick their antiretroviral drugs, commonly known as ARVs.
The COVID-19 task force in Gulu City received information that the number of HIV and AIDS patients picking up their medication from health centers has gone down due to fear of contracting the virus. This was during their 7th sitting at the Gulu City yard.
Most of them are fearing to seek medical attention, and others are fearing even to go for their appointment so that they can pick drugs, ARV drugs, because they have the fear that if even health workers are contracting the disease, so going there is like a trap. They will also get what? COVID-19. So,
according to the Gulu City health educator, the people living with HIV and AIDS fear further exposure.
Present with signs and symptoms. When they are tested, some are tested positive. So it looks like even everyone who is going there might be having COVID. So HIV positive, because they have low immunity, they are now fearing to seek medical attention, even to pick their drugs, because they think they can easily get the disease.
This is another looming tragedy, as failure to adhere to treatment will send many HIV and AIDS patients to an early grave.
Disclosed to us that they fear going to or accessing the health facilities to get their medications because they fear they might contract COVID, because they have been hearing over on the news, on the TVs and social media that most doctors or nurses, let me say in general, health practitioners have been contracting COVID, and a good number of them have succumbed to such.
By press time, Gulu City had recorded 97 COVID-19 deaths. Otim Joseph Katende, an ambulance driver from the Dream Center, thinks that the task force has to find innovative ways of delivering the ARVs.
Discuss with the board, it's the board to make the decision to start and see a way of how to support these people. Because in the last COVID-19 phase, we remember Dream Center was supplying food for the whole Gulu, almost the vulnerable people, e.g. the borders, and other people were going to the district to access food from Dream Center, and Dream Center has been giving food to all of them. But this time we still don't know the plans.
The fear is believed to be based on the recent death of health workers. The Gulu City Task Force chairperson, Dennis Odongpin, says these patients are playing with wildfire.
If you fail to take your ARV, your immunity comes down, then you can be attacked by many opportunistic diseases, and eventually you succumb. So I think there's no reason why they should fear.
However, they have embarked on sensitization on radios and plan to involve VHTs in delivering these medications to the HIV and AIDS patients in their villages.
Kotido district leadership and hospital administrators are under spotlight over shoddy work and poor management of Kotido Health Center 4. The hospital has structures that have collapsed, being utilized as shelter for patients, and the deplorable conditions here have left the Parliamentary Committee on COVID-19 in utter shock, calling for further investigations into the conduct of the district's political leadership. Take a look.
This structure, which was to be the children's ward, was constructed 10 years ago, and since then it has never been put to use. All the equipment was not installed either, but the MPs were shocked to see the house with cracks and the ceiling has started falling down.
So it's true. What happened? It is true. This house since was built, I don't think they have ever used it. They have never used it. They have never used it. They have never used it. This house has never been used since it was built. But as you can see, the ceiling is falling.
However, the clinical officer at the hospital says the Kotido district failed to employ the required staff to actualize the use of the facility.
Of course, now since the building was constructed, we have not been using because we did not have the adequate staff, that is the pediatrician and also the pediatric nurses.
Failure to put in use a multi-million structure was not only the joke of the day, but the theatre, which is currently undergoing renovation, was also deemed unfit for use.
This floor has to be done because when we are cleaning, you're going to get all sorts of infections. You get my point? Yes. All this, it really has to be done. I'm sorry for crucifying you, but please put your case to line. You're okay, I'll do something.
Dr. Charles Ayume, MP Koboko Municipality, instructed the district authority not to commission the theatre due to substandard work. LC5 chairman Kotido blamed the shoddy works and mismanagement on the former district leadership, pledging to fix the mess.
We promised the people of Kotido that we shall offer them effective leadership. Effective leadership that is going to take charge of each and every sector here. In construction, in roads, we don't want shoddy works. These shoddy works you are seeing happen during the past administration. But with my coming in, the mayor and the members of parliament, we are going to ensure that the 5 years, they are not just years for jokes, they are years of results where we deliver standard and quality services to the people of Kotido district.
Kotido Health Center 4 is in the process of being upgraded to a district referral hospital, which the people say is long overdue. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kotido.
Today in history.
On the 14th of July 1789, a state prison on the east side of Paris, known as the Bastille, was attacked by an angry and aggressive mob. The Bastille was initially built as a fortress guarding the eastern entrance of the city of Paris during the 1300s. Bastille Day, which is a national holiday in France, celebrates the action of a mob of Frenchmen who stormed a prison to get weapons and free prisoners, a thing that marked the start of the French Revolution.
As the financial year 2020-2021 draws to an end, URA has put measures in place to facilitate taxpayers to file their returns and pay taxes within the set deadline. All our offices across the country and the URA Contact Center shall remain open to provide extra support to our esteemed taxpayers. Additionally, we have extended our contact center service hours from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Monday to Friday and from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Saturdays and public holidays. In light of the COVID-19 risks, we encourage taxpayers to reach us through our improved contact center and other online platforms instead of making physical visits to our offices. For online support, please reach us through our toll-free lines 0800 117 000 or 0800 217 000. Email services@ura.go.ug. Website ura.go.ug. Social media Facebook URA page, Twitter @URA Uganda. Customs Help Tool help.ura.go.ug/login. URA appreciates all taxpayers who have duly fulfilled their obligations. Stay safe and let us all observe the standard operating procedures to prevent further spread of the COVID-19 virus. Stay safe as we develop Uganda together. Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
The Universal Periodic Review, UPR, is a mechanism under the United Nations where member states review each other's human rights situation every 4 years. It's a voluntary process where all states are treated as equal partners.
The ultimate aim of the UPR is to improve on the human rights situation in all countries through technical assistance and cooperation.
The UPR is a state-driven process, and as such, the preparation of the report is done by an interministerial committee on human rights that is chaired by Foreign Affairs. We value stakeholder input in the process and therefore appreciate the role of civil society in the third cycle of the UPR process.
To this effect, the National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders Uganda, a civil society organization, is coordinating all civil society organizations to participate in this process of the alternative reporting in liaison with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Uganda.
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Century Points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go. MTN.
COVID-19, chija kubwa. If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear a mask properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
efforts to improve quality assurance and Uganda's competitiveness as a tourist destination, Uganda Tourism Board is set to undertake a nationwide grading and classification exercise of hotel and accommodation facilities. As a member of the East African community, Uganda subscribes to the East African Grading and Classification Criteria, a system denoted by stars ranging from 1 to 5. The grading and classification exercise will be crowned by the awarding of star ratings to facilities found compliant to the EAC minimum standards. This is therefore a call to all accommodation and facility owners and managers to register and get licensed by UTB as a requirement and get ready for participation. For more information, visit www.utb.go.ug or email qualityassurance@utb.go.ug for details. Uganda Tourism Board, promoting tourism together.
Welcome back from the break, and we're glad that you're still watching UBC News Tonight. I'm Laurin Masika Kazimoto and Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language. Now, LC1 chairpersons in Kasese municipality have expressed concern on how the COVID-19 relief fund registration was conducted, leaving out the most vulnerable people. The 80-year-old Nyangoma Oliver, who is among the vulnerable, say no one came to her for registration for COVID-19 relief. Rugomoka Justice, a border rider in Kasese town who was registered, claims that up to now no message has come to his phone. However, a section of local artists producers in Kasese municipality have expressed happiness after receiving messages from the government.
Around 214 people were registered in my area. So the names were taken. The parasocial worker and the VHT plus the chief of this area, we are taking control and we are running that activity successfully. So all the names were taken to the town clerk for verification, and we are still waiting for those relief funds. So far in my area, I haven't received any person reporting to me that has received that money.
Kana bataije ogama ngo bampandike ndumukayikuru hano chonka kuyabatwandika na saa zino tubakatulitira kasende mbatusubiza mbatugamba nyencha balaza chakabiri hati tusibirane vinyuwa kinene chokuri hano mutawuni.
At the start of last week we registered the 14, and out of the 14, 8 received on Friday at 6 p.m. So we are very hopeful that the rest who are remaining, the 6, will also receive the funds, and we're also grateful to the government for thinking that way, because actually most of my people, these are artists, these are DJs, they are not working currently.
Nadaba kusimia nge message nisoma ko nisanga senteza government ze batugambo kujja ngazizi nali simanyi nti njakola kinjazifuna naye surprisingly nali ndyawo ku Lokutaano ndaba message ku simu yange eraga nifunye emitwalo 12,400 kyenakola nadukirawo nenzijjayo kubanga nali mubeera ndi producer abayimbi babula tetukyakola lockdown eno yakubiri.
Because me, I didn't also expect the money, but unfortunately I received it. So those people that haven't received, they should be patient, they shouldn't complain much.
Now, in Chegegwa district, expectant mothers have resorted to traditional birth attendance due to transport-related challenges caused by the presidential directive on restriction of movements. In this report, leaders in Chegegwa district have expressed worry over limited access to maternal services.
Statistics from Chegegwa Health Department indicates that the fertility rate in the district is currently at 6.7%, higher than the national rate, which is 3.3%. Pregnant mothers say the lockdown has affected their movement from villages to health centers. Access to maternity kits is another challenge affecting mothers.
bakusaba sente za gloves.
Some mothers have resorted to traditional birth attendants, putting their lives at risk.
Some of them give birth from those villages, and it may end up costing their lives.
Katusabe Dokas, the Chegegwa District Deputy Chief Administrative Officer, attributes the problem to inadequate health facilities in some sub-counties.
The challenges could be, one of them is transport. Because you see, we have a health center here, this is a health center today, but there are those villages that are so deep. Given the lockdown, they may not be able to come and access the services because of transport means.
Uganda Red Cross Society has come in handy to support pregnant mothers with maternity kits and mosquito nets to use in lockdown period. Dr. Richard Mugahi, the Commissioner Reproductive Health, says the Ministry of Health is embarking on community-based care to reduce on maternal-related challenges.
We want to strengthen community participation to support on how communities can support each other, especially for the pregnant women. We are also working with Rotary to procure some equipment that is going to support mothers, refer of mothers from villages or communities to the healthcare facilities.
The mortality rate for under 5 children in Chegegwa district currently stands at 8.3%.
Muslim lawyers under their umbrella organization, the Uganda Muslim Lawyers Association, want security operatives to tell the public the intention of killing the alleged key suspects in the attempted assassination of General Edward Katumba Wamala and the murder of his daughter Brenda Nantongo and driver Haruna Kayondo. They also accuse the Deputy IGP, Major General Paul Lokech, for uttering statements aiming at creating hatred within the Muslim fraternity, which they say may lead Ugandans to do mob justice towards Muslims. As our reporter Deborah Namamonde reports, the lawyers communicated this during a presser held at Hotel Africana in Kampala.
On several occasions, Muslim fundamentalists have been associated with the murder and assassination of key political and high-ranking security officials in the country. In the attempted murder of General Edward Katumba Wamala and murder of his daughter Brenda Nantongo and driver Haruna Kayondo, 8 Muslim suspects were paraded in courts of law for plea taking at Nakawa Grade 1 Magistrate Court.
It is just because of the ADF. They are in the ADF fraternity. You'll never join that organization if you're not a Muslim. Even if you are a Christian, then they must convert you to be a Muslim.
Islam is distinct from Muslims. A Muslim is a person, but Islam is the religion. If someone kills, Islam is against killing. There are very many laws which Islam put up to someone who has killed another.
Basing on the torture inflicted on them, Muslim lawyers under their umbrella, Uganda Muslim Lawyers Association, have accused the security operatives and the Deputy IGP, Major General Paul Lokech, for such actions towards the accused.
What is so interesting is that when Muslims are suspected to have committed any offense, they are tortured, unlike other suspects.
More than 20 Muslims are arrested and they are held incommunicado for periods that go beyond the 48 hours that the Constitution stipulates.
What I need to tell you, we have a specific account for each and every suspect, beginning from the time of arrest and up to the time they were taken to court.
Muslim lawyers who feel angry with the actions towards General Edward Katumba Wamala say, although some Muslims may have participated in these actions, however, security operatives should allow the rule of the law to play its part.
A suspect's rights are also provided for under Article 23 of the Constitution. We are asking the trained officers and security agencies to follow what the Constitution stipulates.
On Monday this week, before Judge Musa Sekana, the Attorney General's chambers confirmed to court the killing of 4 suspects in the attempted murder of John Edward Katumba Wamala by security operatives during arrest.
What I can inform you is that it is true there were certain violent confrontations, especially during the time of arrest. We are not dealing with the suspects behind chicken thefts and so, we are dealing with terrorists. So, who have extremist tendencies and people who have had some form of training.
Now lawyers want security operatives to tell the public the logic behind the killing of the key suspects in this matter.
When you fail to arrest and it necessitates shooting, why don't you shoot legs? Why should you aim the head? Why should you aim the heart? Sincerely, there is something wrong.
Following this, they now want the spokesperson of security agencies to apologize to the Muslim fraternity and to all Ugandans for the statements of hatred leveled against Muslims and tarnishing the image of the Muslim fraternity.
We want court to terminate all the proceedings because of the torture inflicted on the suspects.
Muslims will still live in fear, and it erodes the rights of Muslims to worship. Yes, we demand an apology from the Uganda Police Force and the Army, and we demand that they retract the statements they are making against Islam and Muslims at large.
So far, 8 suspects were paraded in courts of law for the attempted murder of John Edward Katumba Wamala, killing of his daughter Brenda Nantonga and driver. These include Kagugube Muhammad, Walusimbi Kamada, Kisambira Siliman, Abdulaziz Ramadan, Habib Ramadan, Yusuf Nyaza and Hussein Serubura. Deborah Nemamonde, UBC News.
Tobacco growers from Bunyoro region, Changwanzi and other areas have sought the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja's intervention into the matter of a delayed presidential pledge to compensate over unpaid tobacco supplies to companies. This was in a private meeting where the Prime Minister delegated the second Deputy Prime Minister, General Moses Ali, to represent her at the OPM Twin Tower.
They did appeal to the President, and His Excellency directed the Ministry of Finance to find money to pay those people. And we have already got the money, 11 billion. And today we're engaging the companies to share with us their debt burden to the farmers so that we are able to compare notes, but also to ask those companies to reimburse government in the future. So we have not concluded. We agreed on the way forward. We have formed a smaller committee, and I'm going to chair that committee so that we harmonize the list, what government has and what the companies have. And our intention is to speed up the process so that we are able to give money to the benefiting farmers.
Okutesa okwetegereza bani ababanja ne sente mmeka ze babanja nga tetunnaba kugenda mu bya kusasula. Tubadde n'okwenyola na buli omu kwatulira munne gwe wannemesa gwe wakola ki gwe badde onyima license n'ebifaanana bwe bityo naye tulowooza bijja kuggwa.
The major areas to be covered here is Bunyoro, majorly. But of course there are other farmers from West Nile and other areas which are tobacco farmers farming areas. But majorly now we are starting with Bunyoro.
Police in Iganga has arrested over 20 street vending children to trace their parents who trained them to engage in child labor. This was through an operation headed by the DPC Karechezi Martin and the Child Protection Office to curb child hawking in Iganga town. We have the details.
A survey carried out by UBC and Ministry of Gender in 2018 to find out the number of street children across the 4 districts of Iganga, Kampala, Jinja and Mbale indicated that a total of 15,000 children lived on street. However, it is estimated that there are many more children working on the streets and returning home to sleep. Since the second lockdown on schools in the country, the number of children on streets involved in hawking different products is increasing day by day in Iganga.
So we have come up today and arrested most of the children on our streets to find a way of how best can we tap the drivers or the family or the parents that are sending them onto the streets. And lucky enough, most of them are coming up, pick their children, and we want to use this opportunity to caution the parents.
This has prompted police to carry out an operation where they have collected 20 children and taken them to the child protection desk. These were selling masks, vegetables, roasted maize, sweet bananas, among other products.
Sente dange madengula maski na tembeya na tunda nafuna kwa kasenta kokulya kokwebezaawo ng'omuvubuka
verenganga tubanga mu kusoma naye nga ndagadaga ino ne school fees oti nasalawo neyiya mu mbeera eneriwe sobola okuba nti nfuna sente disobola okunsobozesa okusoma nga balekuirereko dawuni eno.
Police says child labor is an offense against children's rights, and this has been a trap to get parents and people behind this entire act.
When the lockdown came in, schools were closed not to expose children to the danger of COVID-19. But the fact that the parents have made them to now be hawkers, they are exposing them more to COVID-19 more than the schools where they are. So they decided to mount an operation which will be even ongoing to even get more.
Some of the parents around town and business community where police has carried out this operation have supported police, saying these operations may help reduce congestion in town.
Risking babateire kunga abana bwabawala abalenzi babalimbalimba kuba babanga bali kutambula enehawuli omuntu asobola kumweta kumulimba nti ajja kumugula ku byali kutunda kunkomero yabanga amukozeisa kabiri bade nyaira kumuzaire kuba omwana yasobola kufuna bulwaire.
Children's rights defenders in Iganga have expressed concern over parents' failure to exercise their responsibilities, shifting it to children.
To bring food on a table, you're exposing them to different dangers. One, we have COVID-19. These children don't have masks. We have seen so many children in the marketplaces.
Most of the parents involving young children into business are claiming they have nothing to feed on, and the situation is just worsening.
Sada yandekera abaana kuba omukazi tuli mulala basada beeteka abakazi otiikumi aye ng'osooka baakuleka aye ng'akuzairemu abaana abawera kuba nze nina abaana bangi aye omwami yabandekera naye.
UBC News Tonight takes a short breather and we return with the latest in business.
The Office of the Prime Minister, together with the National Planning Authority, will on Friday 16th July 2021 launch the National Development Plan web-based monitoring and evaluation system developed to provide timely progress assessment on the performance of the National Development Plan. This message is brought to you with support from the European Union.
Airtel Uganda has the best and most affordable rates when it comes to withdrawing and sending money. Withdraw money for as low as 330 shillings up to a maximum of 12,500 shillings. Sending money is just as affordable as ever. Absolutely unbeatable. Use Airtel Money on the most affordable network with the largest network of Airtel Money branches in Uganda. Dial *185# to get started. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Therefore, understanding this model.
Excuse me, lady. Who do you think you are? A queen?
Hey, haven't you heard? Get Airtel Chillax bundles and browse like a queen.
Get Airtel Chillax bundles that do not expire and browse like a queen or king. Dial *175# or use My Airtel app.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Introducing to you the Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies, Mbarara University of Science and Technology. We run academic programs designed to create an interface between academics, industry, and the community. We aim at offering hands-on learning experience and skills that suit continuous evolving societal needs. Join the Faculty of Interdisciplinary Studies today for undergraduate training in Bachelor of Science in Planning and Community Development, Bachelor of Science in Gender and Applied Women Health, and Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Livelihoods and Farm Production. For postgraduate programs, we offer Master of Arts in Planning and Governance, Master of Arts in Development Studies, Master of Arts in Peace and Conflict Studies, Postgraduate Diploma in Criminology, and PhD in Development Studies. For inquiries, please contact us through our email dean.fis@mass.ac.ug or admissions@mass.ac.ug, or you can call the Dean directly on 0782 82 7777 or 0701 77 8699. Electronic applications are also available on our website, applications.mass.ac.ug. Succeed we must.
Welcome back from the break. Now into business. The Nakawa Residential City Commissioner Anderson Burora has reached on the common ground with the management of Forest Mall Lugogo to continue operating without flouting the standing directives and guidelines intending to curb the spread of COVID-19. Among the terms agreed are to close all non-essential services operating on the premises and proper observance of the standard operating procedures by the Ministry of Health. This comes after RCC Anderson Burora directed for the closure of the mall on grounds on failure to observe necessary guidelines to control the spread of the pandemic.
Decision, however, the issue was not to close the malls, but the services that were open, which are not essential, but they are operating in those premises. And it is, as we speak now, the matter has been solved. Those services that are not essential have closed, and the stampede and congestion is now low, which is what we intended and nothing else. You see, these are big premises. They have boutiques, electrical shops, different offices, salons, so many, businesses that we are running, which could not allow flexibility for one to observe social distancing. Because if the business, it means everyone is going to run from that area. You don't know where they are coming from. You don't know whether they are observing to the SOPs. You don't know. so which could spark another nightmare of transmission. The terms are clear. 1, let only essential services stay at work and open. 2, if you have a restaurant, ensure that there is social distancing. You can't have one small table with 4, 5 chairs, 3 chairs. Adhere to the SOPs. Provide the necessary means for Ugandans to be safe. And that is all. So we are in discussion with the managers to design means of managing parking. Because actually we have also come to understand that people come and park there and go. They come in the evening, pick their cars. So we are talking to them to design a system. How much time can a customer stay? Let's say 30 minutes. Can you issue like something like tickets?
Prudential Insurance Uganda has acquired over 50,000 IAA insurance clients in an unprecedented partnership launch in Kampala today. The acquisition also sees all staff and sales agents of IAA in Uganda crossed over to Prudential's management. Take a look.
We're happy to share that globally, Prudential serves 15 million customers, and this success, which began in 1848, is down to our focus on meeting the needs of our customers in all times. Prudential's growth in Uganda is hinged on customer centricity, innovation, and our track record of always honoring every single valid claim.
What has not changed, however, is the cost of medical care and access to quality medical facilities. Ensuring that we have good health is very important because an unhealthy workforce or population means there's no productivity, and no productivity translates to negative economic consequences, not only to families, but to the nation at large.
To our new policyholders, as a result of this transfer, the one that we are celebrating today, we would like to reassure you that we are a trusted partner and we pledge to continue serving you with even better standards and quality enjoyed by over 20 million customers across the world.
Private players in the tourism industry are calling on government to increase her investment in the tourism sector. In the wake of the second wave of COVID-19, government nearly closed most of the sectors to counter the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, the tourism sector remained among the priority sectors running. But the question is, are tourists coming in as earlier envisaged, or is this sector struggling?
Before the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic, tourism was one of the leading earners of foreign revenue to Uganda. However, when the country experienced the first lockdown in March last year, it registered a loss of $1.6 billion in the financial year 2019-2020 in the tourism sector. Now, John Hanwick, the managing director for Rwenzori Trekking Services, a tour operating company on Rwenzori, says government needs to invest more in the tourism industry.
Particularly with this COVID, people have become much more aware of being in nature. And I think there's a huge potential for a lot of outdoors activities.
The mountain climbing enthusiasts say the Royal Uganda Wildlife Authority could procure tourism helicopters to give a view of the beautiful sceneries of the Rwenzori to tourists once they reach the peak.
Climbing the peaks, coming down, then overflying it with a helicopter. Not only that, they also fly over the Aberdare Mountains and other areas and national parks to have the tourists get a real aerial view of what the beauty of Africa is.
John Wright, a professional mountain climber and company director of African Ancients Limited, a mountaineering and trekking company in Kenya, says Rwenzori seemingly remains untouched, yet it offers a breathtaking experience for any admirer of mountain climbing.
Alice Netukunda, a senior warden at Rwenzori National Park, says they continue to engage all stakeholders to ensure clients get a wonderful moment on the glaciers of the Rwenzori.
And I want to encourage all tourists out there from Uganda, from other countries, to come and tour Rwenzori. We have all it takes to reach the peak, and I think they can spend as many days as they want and enjoy the goodness of Rwenzori.
And now into sports. Uganda national rugby 15s women has won her first leg tie 41-0 against Zimbabwe's women's national side in the ongoing Africa Rugby Women's Cup that climaxed at Chandondo Rugby Grounds in Kampala. First half tries through full-back Samia Aikuru and second centre Emily Lekuru gave Uganda confidence that saw the Lady Cranes outclass Zimbabwe Sables. Our reporter Helen Gizamba with more.
And there she goes. Very, very hard carries.
Asamia Aikuru 15th minutes try and Emily Lekuru 18th minutes touchdown in the first half of the contest kept the Lady Cranes upbeat in the game as they squared ties with Zimbabwe national women's 15th side in the Africa Rugby Women's Cup.
That's a very useful kick by Charlotte Mudola, and you have Emily Lekuru breathing down the Sable's neck.
The Lady Cranes mounted more pressure on the Sambos through forwards phase plays. This sent the Zimbabwe women into panic, forcing them to concede unnecessary mistakes like knock-ons that gave advantage to the Lady Cranes to launch gigantic forwards play to the sluggish Zimbabwe pack. However, all wasn't well as Lady Cranes hooker Yvonne Najuma was sent to the sidelines with a yellow card after fouling a Zimbabwe player. At halftime, Lady Cranes tactician Leonardo Lubambula gave more polished tactics to the Lady Cranes that saw both the forwards and backs attacking Zimbabwe like wasps. This saw Uganda scoring another 31 points in a game that ended 41-0 in favor of the Lady Cranes. Lok Winnie Atiang was named most valuable player. Uganda will play her second encounter against Zimbabwe on 18th July this month at Chandondo Rugby Club. The winner will be pitted for the quarterfinals that will be played next year. The tournament will be used as a qualifier for Rugby Women's World Cup due 2023 in France. In the men's clash, Ghana outclassed Algeria 22-20. Reporting for UBC TV News, Helen Barbara, Gizamba.
Well, thank you so much for your company this lovely evening. We do wish you a blessed night. We'll leave you with weather forecast for tomorrow with Millie Kutesa. My name is Laurin Masika Kazimoto and Elizabeth Nakakoni on sign language. We wish you a blessed night. Thanks for tuning in once again. Kutesa Mill with your weather forecast. We are still having thunder showers in most parts of our country, though other areas still experiencing sunny intervals. By 9 a.m. this morning, we had the highs of 10.0 millimeters of rainfall across our capital city, Kampala. Jinja with 2.1, Barra with 1.8 millimeters. This is due to the weakening over the low over the top of South Africa that has pulled back the rain belt towards our country, plus the moist easterlies coming from the Indian Ocean towards our country, enhanced by local effects, bring us the weather that we're experiencing lately. Tomorrow morning, though, we expect to wake up with thunder showers most parts of our country, mainly along the lake shores, the east and the northern part of our region. Apart from some few areas in the southwestern of our country, I expect to have sunny intervals. Afternoon hours, though, expect a continuation of thunder showers in most parts of our country. Again, around Kasese, we expect to see sunny intervals across that side. Temperature is up 28 degrees Celsius of maximum across northern part of our region and Karamoja. Across the lake shores, 26 in capital city Kampala, and Kabale Highlands with the lowest of 23 degrees Celsius. Who is moving out of our country towards other cities around the globe. We are forecasting light showers across Mombasa and Paris with a maximum of 27 degrees Celsius. Around Mombasa, Dubai, New York and London, I expect to have sunny conditions with a maximum of 44 degrees Celsius across Dubai. That is pretty hot. So you who is moving to Dubai, you know exactly what to do. Thanks for tuning in on UBC. I remain Kutesa Mili. Stay tuned. See you tomorrow.
COVID-19, chija kubwa. If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear a mask properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
Did you know that the filing and payment of final income tax by both individuals and non-individuals are due by 30th June 2021? We know most of us are working from home. URA is here to help you throughout this process. Contact us on 0800 117 000 or 0800 217 000 or email services@ura.go.ug.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
The Universal Periodic Review, UPR, is a unique process under the United Nations. It involves peer review of the human rights records of all UN member states every 4 years. The ultimate aim of the UPR is to help improve on the human rights situation in all countries through technical assistance and cooperation. Uganda will be reviewed in January 2022. This is an opportunity to raise international advocacy on Uganda's human rights situation. The National Coalition of Human Rights Defenders Uganda is coordinating all CSOs to participate in the CSO alternative reporting process in liaison with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. For more information, email info@hrdcoalition.ug or call 0772 484 504.
Pick of the day on UBC, brought to you by Authentically symbolic and insightful.
We should work so hard to evacuate this power.
Behind the Headlines, every Wednesday at 10 p.m. with Charles Odong Top, was brought to you by...
We've cut and reduced our MTN Momo withdrawal rates. Now you can withdraw mobile money at the lowest rates. You also get MTN Central Points when you deposit, send and withdraw MTN mobile money. Visit our Momo agents countrywide and withdraw mobile money at our reduced rates from 1st May 2021. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Nature that nurtures our life on Earth determines the geographical surrounding that should be protected and preserved by the community. Our environment is a program that will showcase the importance of human responsibility in a healthy environment, that is to say, conservation, waste management and recycling, disease prevention, biogas to mention but a few. On UBC, Inspiring Uganda.